Greetings YouTube, my name is Nooch and today I'm going to be going over the optimal control scheme that you should be using in Dota 2 if you want to be playing at a high level. Now, I'm going to be using this video as an opportunity to let you guys know that I am doing coaching for the low price of $5 for the first hour, and then after that, if you buy in bulk, they get cheaper. So basically what I want to let you guys know is that I'm going to be just making this video just to see what's gonna happen. And like I know I have a lot of subscribers and I have a lot of fans out there who want to be seeing other types of videos from me, but I want to be making this for the sole purpose of getting this out there, because if I'm going to be doing coaching a lot, I want to be able to refer my students to this video so that we don't have to go over the control scheme during our lessons, and we could save more time and get down to the nitty gritty and actually get through their gameplay so that I don't have to do this every single time. So essentially what you want to do is have Quickcast turned on. That's the first thing I'm going to tell everybody. You need to play with Quickcast, but there's a way that you can play with Quickcast and regular casting that is pretty optimal, and it helps you learn cast ranges if you're new to the game and you're not used to it. So like the AoE of certain spells and everything. So first off, when you go to abilities, you have to click on unit specific hotkeys, because that lets you change from one hero to the next with certain hotkeys. It's not going to be as dramatic as using legacy keys, but you want to be able to click on Ember Spirit, have Quickcast for activate Fire Remnant B to F, which is right underneath R. The two buttons are right next to each other, so it's really easy to just use your Remnant to where you want to be placing and then activate Fire Remnant to get there. The other pretty standard QWE, that's for basically every other hero as well. So when you just go to default, for some reason it's not working. But yeah, if you go to default, it's essentially the same thing. So every hero has got the same sort of quick cast hotkeys. This one I haven't played Alchemist ever, so I don't have them set up for him. But as you can see, I just did it right then. And you want cast to be Alt Q, Alt E, Alt W. This is so that when you press Alt Q, you can see the AoE of Acid Spray before you cast it yourself. But you mainly want to have everything on quick cast so that you don't have to use that extra input of clicking with your left mouse to cast your spells. It saves frames, it saves milliseconds, it'll save your life. Trust me, you need to play with quick cast. The way to activate that is just, first off, you go hotkey options, quick cast on key down. You need to have this checked. Otherwise, when you quick cast by releasing the button, it's once again more frames lost, more milliseconds lost, and you need to have it be as fast as possible. So also, double tap ability to self cast, you do not need to have that activated. You want to have smart double tap, which holding down Alt when pressing an ability or item will trigger a double tap if possible. The reason why this is good is because if you have items, quick cast, anything like this, you can just press Alt Q on certain heroes, like, well, Alt Q, Alt W, Alt R. Like the best example I could give you is probably Oracle, since that hero has 4 abilities that you want to be casting on yourself from most of the time. So, well, not most of the time, but sometimes. False Promise, Purifying Flames, Face Edict, Fortune's End, all of these spells are able to cast on yourself, and you, once again, save frames, you save milliseconds by not double tapping, but by pressing Alt Q, because you're using 2 fingers instead of pressing 1 finger down, lifting it up, and then pressing it down again. So you're doing 2 key downs instead of a key down, a key up, and a key down. So that just makes it faster. Now, the thing about this is you actually want to have the cast for these spells, since there's not really an AoE indicator. You want to have these unchecked, because when you have the smart double tap, which is holding down Alt when pressing an ability or item will trigger a double tap. If you have these set to cast, it'll just auto cast them for you. So what happens is if you hold Alt and press W, you're not going to self cast it if you have this set to Alt W. So now you need to actually click it off. So that lets you press Alt to W. That gives you magic resistance. This gives you a purge. This is basically just your ultimate. You know what it does. If you don't know what it does, I suggest you read it. It's a very good spell. Probably one of the best in the game. And yeah, let's move on from Quickcast for spells, because I feel like I've gone over that enough just now. And let's move on to items. Now for casting, you want to have essentially three that are regular cast and 3 that are quick cast, because it's a good balance between quick cast and regular cast, and you need to always be remembering which slots are which, because it lets you use those items properly. Like I would use a regular cast slot for TP scrolls, for wards, and sometimes like a force staff or a Yules, because since I still have this Quickcast, the smart double tap, you can just press Alt 1 if it's a force staff, Alt 1 if it's a Yules, and you're able to use that item immediately without double tapping. So you can have cast set to D Alt 3 Alt as well, so that it gives you alternate ways of using those items. So you want to have quick cast on, I would say, D, V, and 3. These are very important. Having it be 1, 2, 3 and SDC as the quick cast hotkeys. Now, the thing about this is that 1, 2, 3, it's right above Q, W, and E. So this lets you, and it's for the top half of your item slots. So it's pretty intuitive to be able to say that the top half is above your QWE and the bottom half is below your QWE. So when it's below your QWE, you have S, D, and C. The reason why A isn't part of it is because A is used for other things like attack, moving, and stuff like that. It's pretty useful. So you don't want to be using that for items. Now, quick cast, I usually do D because my blink hotkey is D. It might be different for you guys, but I like to use D as my quick cast hotkey because it's easily accessible from my index finger, and it lets me basically react and press it as fast as possible when a situation arises. Like say an axe blinks on me, or if a Slardar blinks on me, I could just, reflex, instinctively hit D, and then I blink out and I'm fine, so I don't get caught. So stuff like that's very important. You want to have quick cast for these certain items, for these item slots. Like I said, having this smart double tap is very important, because if you have something like a Lotus Orb on V, you can just press Alt V and you cast it on yourself immediately. And that purges items, that purges spells, that reflects spells. It's really strong. And you could just press it on your teammates as fast as you could just by spamming it, basically, by pressing B. Because you can't spam with regular cast. That's the thing. You can kind of spam with left click, but it's not as good as just pressing the button. Okay. So, next thing I want to go over is camera grip. This is really important because it requires a gaming mouse. If any of you aren't playing with a gaming mouse, this isn't going to apply to you. But essentially, what you want to do is have your camera grip set to a thumb button. Now, the reason why it's the thumb button and not the default scroll wheel is because with the thumb button, you have more grip over your mouse as you're holding it down. It gives you more control over your camera, and it essentially just speeds up your gameplay a lot better. And you don't need to pan to the screen every time that you want to move your screen, because that's a lot of wasted movement. And say that you just want to be moving the screen a little bit, panning all the way down and then moving back up to where you were targeting. It's a lot of wasted movement and it's slow. So using a camera grip on your thumb button, it's very intuitive, it's very natural, it doesn't take too long to get used to, and once you get used to it, it's huge. It lets you view the map a lot faster. So let's go over unit actions now. So select all controls units. I have this set to tilde because it's right next to 1. It's a very easy to hit button. It's right below escape. It's basically you just click that and you control all your units. So if you're Serpent Wards, your army and Shen, and you could just tab through your different creeps. It's really, really powerful. Now, there's another option that I have, which is select all other controlled units. I'm going to see if I can find that here. I think it's in options. It's definitely in hotkeys. I'm going to have to try to find this because it's in tab. So you have to find it. Let me find this real quick. I can't find it. It's like, oh, I have it set to caps lock. Okay, because you have tab, which switches between your units, and caps lock selects all your other units besides your hero. So that's really important. You don't want to be using tilde when you're running away and you want to be sending your units in, because if you use tilde and you send all your units in, your hero's going to walk in as well and you're just going to die. So you need to have it be in a position like on a hotkey that's away from tilde, which is caps lock. It's right below, it's like 2 buttons away, and you're not going to be able to misclick caps lock that often instead of tilde if you're going to be going for it. So patrol it's a pretty niche. It's a pretty niche hotkey. That's why I have it set to P all the way over there. There's not a lot of situations where it's useful. still having that set up is kind of interesting because there's some really crazy plays that you can do with it. I've only seen, like, the most effective patrol play I've ever seen is someone used an illusion of theirs to patrol a high ground staircase. So they were just moving between the staircase, and whenever an invis hero passed by, it would knock the illusion, and they would ping that out and say, like, there's a Ricky here, there's a smoked hero there. That's the only real, like, high level application of patrol that I can find. Maybe it's good for, like, having your wolves patrol a certain area, but it's that's also pretty useful, but I don't use it that often. You should have it set up. Directional move. The thing is, I never really got around to directional movement. This lets you basically path in a way where your hero's going to face a direction without having the pathing mess it up. Now, this is really interesting. I feel like I should start using this. I don't use it right now. I'm going to start to experiment with it after this video, actually, because it's quite important in some situations, like being able to aim a force staff better, because you're in a really tight, close quarters area where if you want to force staff up a hill and you're right against the hill, it's hard to click and aim properly without having your hero path towards the top of the hill, which is going to find the nearest entrance. So directional move is pretty important. I suggest you figure out how to use that. I don't know what a good hotkey for that is. I'm going to have to figure out this one as well, but let's go over what I know and not what I haven't practiced. So saved camera positions. This I don't use that often, but it's kind of useful when you're playing Treant Protector, because you just have all of your towers set to the different hotkeys 1 through 9. You just have like sort of based off of the keypad where the towers are on the map. So position 1 would be set to Radiance tier 1 top. Position 2 would be Radiance tier mid tower, and then the position 3 is the tier 1 bottom. So you just go down like that. So alternatively, keypad 4 is it's basically mirrored from the dire side. So the dire side would be 1 would be the tier 1 top, 2 would be mid, etc., etc. So the reason why this is good for Treant Protector is because you always want to be healing your towers. So just tapping on your keypad to find where the different towers are, to be able to go through that and find them, find which towers need healing. It saves you a lot of time. It's pretty fast. Another thing that's pretty important is hold Alt when you're playing Treant Protector to see your teammates' HP bars. Whenever somebody dips a little bit, you can just heal them, and it's easier than just always looking on the map, always like just clicking on different heroes to see if their health has gone down or anything. Control groups I don't use too much because I suck, but these are pretty important. Well, these are for group 5 and 10. Like I haven't used all these extra control groups. I usually just use these ones. For control groups, I use 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 and 7 don't get used too much. 4 and 5 are the main ones. You want to have 4 and 5 be your Helm of the Dominator creep, and say your Sigil if you're playing Tusk or something, or like for Witch Doctor, I have his Voodoo. I have his Death Ward set to 4. Getting used to control groups is pretty important. There's some really crazy things that you can do with control groups, like with techies. You can have huge groups of bombs being set to different control groups, and like they're all very like surgically, like very like intelligently placed so that you can have 5 bombs that will do X amount of damage and that will kill 1 hero. And if you have a stack of 20 bombs, you have different control groups for each of the stacks of bombs that would kill certain heroes, and then you would just press that button when a hero's over it, and you would have the optimal amount of bombs that you would use. I don't play techies though. I don't know why I'm trying to help techies players. Techies players suck, but I don't know. That's just a general statement. Don't listen to me. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. You should never be flaming. So you always got to be in a positive mindset, and flaming is just not what you want to be doing at all. So. I have voice chat set to X. I think that if I found a better hotkey for this, I would probably use it for something like directional movement or something. But I have it set to X just because it's really easy for me to press and talk to my teammates and stuff. It's better than having open mic, because sometimes when I'm streaming, open mic gets me in trouble because I'll flame my teammate. And like, I don't know, like I said, you can't. Flaming teammates is really bad, but sometimes it just comes naturally when someone makes a mistake. You're like, oh man, that guy messed up. So, Let's see what else we have. Yeah, select Courier. I have this set to another thumb button. It's a very easy, very quick way of selecting the Courier. Some people have this set to a control group, so you can set this to 4 or 5 if you want. I have it set to my mouse button, so the upper mouse thumb button, I have 2 thumb buttons that I use, one for camera grip, one for select Courier. I suggest you do the same. Selecting the Courier with the thumb grip is very fast. You can just double tap it to see wherever you want. See wherever it is on the map. And purchase quick buy. I have this set to mouse wheel down because I was thinking the other day, what is the most consistent thing that you spam? And it's definitely the quick buy. So if you have an earn set, instead of having your purchase quick buy being set to a hotkey that you press up and down a bunch, you just spin the wheel and you quick buy everything. So your bloodstone, your orchid, whatever has multiple items that you need to buy at one time, you just press down on the mouse wheel a little bit and you buy all of it. You don't want to do it too quickly because sometimes the game lags and for some reason it'll just make you buy the first item like a bunch of times. So you don't want to spam it too hard. You just want to press it nice and gently so that everything gets bought really quickly. Let's move on to advanced hotkeys. Let's keep looking up here some more. I don't use any of my arrow keys. Some people do. You can use that if you want. I haven't really found a use for that, but camera zoom in, I just don't use that at all because I use my scroll wheel for stuff. Camera zoom doesn't really affect your gameplay at all. For console, you kind of want to. They don't really have any good reason to have console anymore. So this is kind of a useless hotkey. So a screenshot. Let's see what else. And oh yeah, you also need to have this checked for Quickcast. I feel like I should have gone over that first. But basically, you need to have this so that you can use Quickcast properly. It's like the last one you need to have. So, all right, let's go to options some more and check out some other things that you need to do. Yeah, interface, you need to have all of these checked so that you can see neutral spawn boxes, tower attack range. Holding alt is very important. Show ability rangefinder while casting. That used to be only a console command. Now they implemented it in the actual game. It's very strong. It lets you, when you alt click your spells, see the range of them. Instead of just using quick cast, you can see the different ranges, and it's kind of hard to notice, but you can react to it, so it's not the hardest thing to get used to. I usually just have player names instead of hero names. Like this doesn't really matter. None of these are that important. You can customize your minimap whatever you want. There's nothing too optimal about this. Edge pen, also very important. Reverse camera grip, you do not want to have selected at all. Center camera on hero respawn, uncheck that ASAP. You never want your camera to be messing up and moving where you're looking. You don't want to have your camera be moving without your authorization, because if you're preparing to TP in as soon as you respawn and the camera moves to your hero and all of a sudden you just TP to fountain, you just like sewered the game. So disable camera zoom. I guess I think this is a useless option. Hold select hero to follow. Hold select hero to follow your hero. You can just hold F1 for this. You just want to hold F1 when you're selecting your hero. You want to if you lose track of your hero, spam F1. If you lose track of your hero in fights, that happens all the time. Just spam F1. It's gonna go right to your hero. I don't know what this really does, but it's probably not important. This is also very important. Right click to force attack. You always want to have this checked. It lets you deny creeps, deny heroes without pressing A. It saves you a button click. It saves you all that time. And denies are huge in the meta right now, as they have 25 bonus XP that go to you when you deny your creep, as well as they only get 25% of the XP of the hero of the creep when it dies. It's incredibly overpowered, and having this selected is incredibly powerful and it's strong. So you need to have this. Teleport requires hold stop. Some people don't like that. I have it selected just because sometimes when I'm TPing, it takes a little bit extra long, and like you forget that when somebody has teleported into the tower already, that it adds an extra second to when you teleport in. So if you start moving right after that, it's going to cancel your TP. But with this, it's just going to buffer a movement action, so it's not gonna mess you up. All right, let's see. Yeah, you don't need this really. You want smart double tap because it's faster than this. Auto select summon units. If you're a carry player, you might have this selected. Since I play support, I don't have this checked, but I have auto attacks selected to never because I play support. I think you always want to have this. You might if you're a carry player, I think you always have this set, because when you use a Manta style, you want your hero to attack after whatever the nearest hero is, or maybe standard. I'm not sure. For carry players, this is different, but if you're a support, you always want it on never. It lets you sit in trees without auto attacking anything, and it lets you be a bit more stealthy. So let's move on to advanced options. Disable auto attack when stop is held. Yes, that's very important. So when you press the stop key, which for me it's spacebar. I feel like I didn't go over that. Yeah, hold position. I have it set to spacebar. It's a very easy to click button for. You might be able to find a better use for the spacebar than I do, but this is what I use. It's very effective. It's good for canceling your attack animation. It's good for canceling your spell animation, anything like that. Hold position for spacebar is very good. So having it set to that is important. So yeah, that's good. Summoned, yeah, I like auto attack set to always for summoned units. It's kind of annoying to be able to cast like wards or something and they don't attack if you have it set to never standard, same as hero, stuff like that. So just having it set to always, and then you could pick where they attack after that by pressing caps lock. It's very important. So Quickcast on key down. I think I already went over that. If there's okay, this is interesting because I didn't notice there were two options for this. You might have to have both of them selected because Dota's weird like that sometimes. But hold forces auto attack never. Okay, attacks orders will clear the setting back to the value in the options. Just ignore this. I think this isn't important. Auto repeat right mouse. Yes. Okay, you need to click this. This is also a very important option. When you have this selected, it essentially means that you can just hold down right click and it's going to force, it's going to spam right click. So it's going to have like maybe 10 clicks a second around. So when you're moving your hero, having it's so that you don't just spam your left click all the time. Like you're just like that's annoying when you want to be moving somewhere. So you just hold down the right button and auto repeat. It's just it's like an auto clicker. It's a default auto clicker for Dota. So you just have that set. It lets you get runes easier. You can basically just fight people for runes at that point just by holding your right click. Moving around the map is really easy with this too because you can just focus on where your cursor is. You don't have to be spamming too hard. That's not important. These are, you can use these if you want. They're not important. This is, you want to click this if you want to have your stats be tracked through Dota buff. Through Dota, Open Dota, stuff like that. If you don't want it, you uncheck that and it's fine. You don't want this. You don't want this. You don't want any of this. Camera acceleration 49 is good. Minimap misclick protection time. Time in seconds the input isn't registered when the mouse first enters the minimap area. Okay. So I don't know if you misclick on your map a lot, but you might want to play with this if you do. Because some people, when they're running away in mid lane or whatever, they're like trying to click on the left side and they accidentally click on the map. It like makes them run into it paths them towards the dire fountain and their hero starts walking the other way and it gets them killed. Okay, one thing I want to mention about this auto repeat right mouse. Okay, auto repeat right mouse plus this, where is it? Right click to force attack. One thing I have to tell you guys about this is that when you right click on your teammates, when you right click on your allied heroes, on wards, on creeps, whenever you do that, it's going to essentially stop your hero. So it's like a stun basically. You like stun yourself if you're a ranged hero and like you're near one of your creeps and you accidentally click on them with your right click. So one thing about this is you always need to watch out. You always need to not click on your own heroes when you're moving around because it's essentially just going to make you stop moving completely and it can get you killed. So if you see that that's happening to you a lot, you have to realize that that's the reason why it's happening, and you have to stop clicking on your wards. You have to stop clicking on your heroes as you're running away. It's another thing to watch out for. It essentially improves your control over the hero because you're more cognizant of where you're actually moving instead of just running in a general direction. So that's like more for laning. Like if you're laning and you need to be harassing somebody and you accidentally your attack moving and everything and you click on your word and you stop moving, they can get a easy trade on you, and that's just something you need to be cognizant of. So I'm letting you guys know about that right now. I think that pretty much covers it. I said color because I was reading this. It pretty much covers it. Move after ability target canceled. Let me see this. When using right click to cancel targeting an ability, move to the clicked location in addition to canceling the ability. That's confusing. I'm going to check. I don't know what that does. Sorry. Okay. Well, strict solo ranked matchmaking. You also want to have that clicked, I guess. But I think that's going to cover everything, though. If you're coming to this video from one of my, as you're one of my my students, you should let me know that you've already watched this video, and then we can go over your individual gameplay yourself, because I want to be like very thorough with this, and I want to be very strict with how you set up your hotkeys and everything, because this is optimal. This is how you want to be playing as fast as possible, so that you can get better at the game, and you can understand how movement works better, and it's way better for your gameplay. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Please leave a like if you learned something and if you enjoyed, and that's going to be about it. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Take it easy. Peace out.